This is how we're set up. Yes. So I'm about to give y'all the ins and outs of influencing. We're going to talk about how I got into influencing, the pros and cons, tips and advice, all that great stuff. And I'm doing it with NPR Money, Power, and Respect Summit, powered by Choose True Project. Stay tuned, baby. Hi everyone, it is your girl Leslie LATRICE, and I'm jumping right in with the ins and outs of influencing. So first things first, I just want to make sure we understand what we're gonna go over today. All right, so first thing, I'm gonna introduce myself. I'm gonna tell y'all a little bit about your girl. Then we're going to talk about the ins and outs of influencing. The first thing is, how did I get started? You know, why did I start doing YouTube? Why did I start influencing? And then we're gonna get into the pros and cons. And then after that, I'm gonna give y'all some tips, you know, give y'all a little bit of razzle dazzle, my tips, you know, the things that I've learned throughout my almost 6 years of influencing at this point. Like, hold on, let's take a little sip for that. Let's take a little sip for that. 6 years, are you okay? And if you don't have your wine or your tea or your coffee, go ahead and get your little something. Get your little something, because I'm about to give it to you. I'm about to give y'all all the tea. All right, so introducing me, your girl, Leslie LATRICE. That is me. I have been influencing / content creating since 2016. July of this year, I think, will make 6 years, like I just said. And I have created content for all the different platforms, and I first started on YouTube. Currently, right now, my niche, what I love to do is hair and beauty. And then I also have a lifestyle channel where y'all really get to see me in my element, day in the lives, travel, all that great stuff. So I actually have 2 channels. And if y'all don't already, follow your girl. My Instagram is @LeslieLatrice. My whole website is leslielatrice.com, where you can find every single one of those platforms that I'm on. And TikTok is @LeslieLatrice as well. So with that being said, we're gonna go into the first part of the ins and outs of influencing. So how did I get started? 2016, I had just recently came home from a deployment, and I also had a very significant event happen in my life where I knew that I needed an outlet. I needed something to do outside of the military. And I didn't mention that, but I've served in the military for over 8 years, and I'm getting out of the military this year. But I will say that due to the military and due to the things that were going on with me in 2016, that caused your girl to, you know, tap into some hobbies, tap into her personality, and let the world see like who she is and what she has to offer. And it really did tap into, I really did tap into my creative side. From there, I just decided to upload one of my very first videos, which was like a 2-minute video, very short and simple, but it got the job done for my first video. And I bought a point and shoot camera, like maybe $200 or $300. I got it from Best Buy, and we started recording. I was using iMovie at the time and watching YouTubers that I felt like I really like to watch and inspired what content that I wanted to create. And so that's where I kind of started to travel down the path of finding out what exactly I liked and what content I wanted to create. Because at the beginning, I was creating hair content, I was doing fashion hauls, I was traveling, I was doing vlogs. Like, my channel was just a lot of everything, but it all encompassed me and my personality, right? What platform I did use the most was YouTube at the time. Now you have platforms like TikTok and Instagram that have really taken influencing to a whole nother level, like a whole nother level. So as an influencer, you obviously have the opportunity to influence and provide solutions to an array of different people on a bunch of different platforms right now in 2020. When for me, back in 2022, it was really just YouTube. YouTube was the only platform that I used that actually you could monetize. So I digress. But after that, I only used Instagram to, like, you know, promote trailers to my YouTube. So like 1-minute videos, etc. And then of course, YouTube didn't have the awesome features Instagram didn't have the awesome features they have now to promote. And I also use Snapchat. And then from there, I joined this organization called Impressions of Beauty. And that is where joining that organization that brought your girl to a whole nother level. So if you haven't heard of Impressions of Beauty, go follow them on Instagram. But they literally really helped me to understand what it meant to be an influencer. So at the point I joined, I was really just trying to make a little extra coin, you know, and really just have a hobby, etc. But I didn't understand how much moolah, how much support, how much all of that was in this industry until I joined IOB. So they taught me a lot about sponsorships, collaborations, partnerships, and affiliations. And you know, that's just, and then that was in 2019. 2020, your girl is like, got her own whole brand at this point. But with that being said, if y'all have comments or questions, I'm gonna try, like, you know, tap into this a little bit. As I go through, but yeah, okay. Just tapping in. All right, so next part of this are the pros and cons of influencing or creating content, right? So one of the many things that I love is the fact that I get to engage with a wide variety of people with different demographics and different locations, different age groups, just overall this melting pot of love and support for me and the things that I want to bring to the world. And I have loved that since I've always kind of been a social butterfly, but social media has definitely helped me to find so many different people that I can connect with. And a couple of my friends, like right now, I met through like social media, and then we just created this connection in the real world. So I truly do love the support, and honestly, sometimes the support from, you know, people you don't know be like giving way bigger than the support from the people you know. But regardless, I love the support, and so should you if you are considering being an influencer or if you are currently an influencer or content creator right now. The next thing is exposure. So with social media, obviously, you know, you have these features like repost, shares, and you literally can double your exposure, double, triple, quadruple the exposure you have for whatever it is that you like to do, whatever it is that you like to create. Social media is a way to promote yourself, your brand, market anything. And it's really became like this really huge marketing tool for almost any and everything. So if there's anything, you know, that one thing that you want to do as an influencer, I definitely recommend getting on every platform, you know, and utilizing those platforms to your benefit to market yourself and your brand. The next thing, not a lot of people like this now, but your girl, I still love free products, okay? I still love the free products. So brands have these things now called, or these entities or segments, whatever you want to call them, called PR lists. And if anything, as an influencer, even if you cannot collaborate or partner or get sponsored by a certain brand, request to be on their PR list. That means that you will likely be sent their newest collections, their newest campaigns, their lines, and everything, even before like the world is exposed or presented to this. So you have the opportunity to, one, receive free products, and then use those free products to create your own organic content that will then solicit that partnership if you didn't already acquire it. So don't sleep on free products, y'all, okay? Don't sleep on the free. First of all, why are we sleeping on the free? Because everybody love a little free. And then the next thing is travel and events. So I had the opportunity to participate in trade shows for Aunt Jackie's and Cream of Nature. I actually helped out with Cream of Nature at the Curl Fest in Atlanta in 2019-ish. So that's an opportunity to go to events, to travel, and to network, which ultimately, y'all already know what networking does. It turns you into money. It turns into money, so why not? So I definitely love the fact that sometimes you have the opportunity to travel with different brands. Sometimes brands can even sponsor your travel in exchange for content or any other benefits such as that. Then as a segue, it's just working with amazing brands. My own organic content, meaning when I say organic content, I mean that's content that you create yourself that's not sponsored. So maybe you just, really love these particular skincare items or any type of beauty items, products, and you create your own content. And then from there, you might be exposed, like here we go, exposure. Get exposure to those bigger brands or even small brands. I mean, smaller businesses and things like that. Black-owned businesses, your organic content floats around the internet and it's shared. You never know who is sharing. And so at that point, you can be reached out to do partnerships or create content for these brands. So for example, my own organic content, I like to believe, I was asked to join the Swan campaign with Olay back in 2020. And I was like, Olay, are you kidding on? Like, give it to me, okay? So I got to work with Olay, Urban Skin RX, African Pride, like all these different brands because, one, this is something I love to do, and then two, because I don't just create sponsored content, I actually create my own organic content, which shows that you really love what you're doing, regardless of, whether the money is there. And that's what I like. I like doing it. This is my thing. It's my hobby. And it also makes me a little bit of money. There's nothing wrong with that. And then one other feature is paid subs, right? Paid subscriptions. You now have them on YouTube. I don't currently use them because I don't really have anything like super exclusive, but it's great if you have like exclusive content that you want people to pay for. Use the paid subscriptions. That's a great way to maximize on being an influencer and using these platforms. And then obviously we've been talking about it the whole time. A pro of being an influencer is obviously getting that check, getting that money, getting the coin. That is an awesome and amazing pro, especially if you know your worth, which we'll get into in a second. So some cons. So obviously you have those haters. Just as much as you have supporters, you're gonna have your haters. Shoe fly don't bother me because at the end of the day, you love what you do and you have people who are in your corner who love it. You're always gonna have a hater. If you don't have a hater, you're not doing something right. So That's a con. The next is time. So it does take time. If you want to create quality content, you have to figure out the best ways to be efficient. Regardless, you will have to invest your time. Invest your time in editing, invest your time in planning, you know, batching content, creating content so that you can balance your time. And then another thing is consistency. It's not a con per se, but it's a con if you can't be consistent. Consistency is key. If y'all don't take anything from this, take this. Consistency is key. Consistency is key. Okay? It is key. You have to remain consistent because once you fall off, your support, the OGs will stay around, you know, but some of the new people, they might go and try to find somebody else who's doing what you're doing or has a similar personality or, you know, etc. So try to remain consistent in how you publish content, when you publish content, all that great stuff. And then the last thing, I mean, if you are an influencer, you already kind of know. Influencers, sometimes brands are still on this whole offering free products in exchange for content bid. I'm gonna say, Leslie, she's not gonna do that because it takes a lot of time to create said content and it's just not worth it for the value of the product. Now, if it matches, go for it. But if it don't match, you're gonna have to move on to the next influencer. Okay? All right, so next segment is tips. Next and really the last segment of ins and outs of influencing are tips and advice for influencing. But before we get into that, let me check the chat really quick to see if there's anything. Oh yes. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna answer them at the end. I promise. I'm gonna answer them. I like them already. So, all right. So, tips and advice to influencing. So number one, numero uno is be yourself. Be yourself. It is very hard to be someone else. Very, very hard. Why would you want to make this hard when we can make this easy by just being your organic and natural self? Whether you're making a TikTok, whether you copying a TikTok, whether you're on YouTube, whatever you're doing, be yourself. 2, transparency. Tell your audience what content you are creating, what content you want to create, and ask for their feedback. When I say transparency, I'm not saying you gotta let everybody know all of your business. Obviously, you put whatever you want into the world out there, but be transparent so that people know what they're signing up for, okay? And if you don't have a niche, which is basically, I think say niche or niche, but it's basically like what your channel is going to consist of, like what your platform is going to highlight. If you don't have a niche, 1, explore the things you love to do. Explore the things you love to do, what you like to create, so you can kind of try to narrow it down. Or you can just be, you know, you can rainbow it up. If you want to do everything, okay? But pay attention to your analytics, because your analytics are going to tell you what content your audience loves, what content is not doing so well, so you can kind of figure out like which stuff you should create more. And then next is just start. I know people think like, you know, they see all these influencers now who have like all this great equipment, lighting, ring lights and stuff. Your girl didn't start off with ring lights. I used to have to get up make sure I was up at least by 1 p.m. when the sun was beaming at its highest, because I didn't have a ring light, you know? So natural lighting is always great, but sometimes time is of the essence. So just start. If you have your phone, now the iPhone cameras is lit. So use your phone to create your content. You can use your phone to edit now. Video Shop is a good app to use. So don't wait on, you know, these things that everyone's telling you need. Start, period. Aim to provide solutions and not sell your audience. So aim to provide solutions, not sell your audience, okay? So you're not here to, or at least I'm not, I'll say. You're not here to like basically make this commercial and Colgate, the best toothpaste out. Like, no, you're here to say, hey, like this toothpaste has really helped whiten my teeth in less than 4 weeks. If you're looking for one, here it is. So, you know, that's what you're doing. You're providing solutions. That's my tip, okay? And then use all your platforms, Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, all of that. Use all of your platforms to promote yourself and your brand, okay? Snapchat, and what I use when I use all these different platforms is I kind of use variations of my content to highlight different parts of it on the different platforms. So example, on Snapchat, it's more of a conversation. I'm more like having conversations, venting and stuff like that, but I may show like some behind the scenes of what I'm doing. YouTube is probably just the aesthetic, like just the edited like version of everything. TikTok, acting, you know, dancing, all this different stuff, showing a different side of my personality. Instagram is really aesthetically pleasing. I like how my Instagram looks. It's just, it's awesome, and it's a great way to continue to make connections with a large amount of people, as is all platforms. So find out, you know, like how you're gonna use your platforms and why your audience should follow you on different ones, you know. And so that's why I do that, because I feel like, why would I follow you on TikTok if you posting the same thing on TikTok that you post on Instagram? I mean, like, it doesn't make sense to me. I do it sometimes though, but that's okay. You just kind of want to see and fill it out, but just have, you know, your own baseline for what each platform is going to be for. And then one thing, the very last thing, know your worth. Know your worth. You miss 100% of the shots you do not take. Again, you have brands that still contact you and say, hey, I'll give you these free products in exchange for content, and you can let them know, hey, this is how I would say it, and I can give you this advice, and just say, hi, thank you for, you know, choosing me. I would love to create content for your brand at this time. I am prioritizing paid collaborations. Is this something that your brand is interested in honoring, and will this work for you? Please let me know. There it is, because your time is money, baby. Your time is money. Sometimes it works. Sometimes that free product works. It depends on if it's something you use organically or what have you. But I'm telling you, I say no to more brands than I say yes to. That's what I will say. I say no to more brands, and not just because of payment, but because